Afternoon, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Jordan Ambrose giving you guys an update on what's going on across the Wiregrass. There's some tornado watches further out to our west. I do expect this to be extended into the Wiregrass a little bit later on, and we do have a few updates. So this is what's going on across the region. Further out to your west, if you're in areas near Enterprise and even in Coffee County near Elba, dealing with some very heavy rain, and also near the Sampson area. So we're seeing already some of these storms make its way in. We have to watch out for some broad rotation here and there. Now near the Goshen area, we're seeing some broad rotation now down here in at least Coffee County right now. And even as you go further down to your south near Geneva County, not seeing anything super strong. But again, we have to watch out for certain areas, again, where you see those reds and greens touching. That's what we really have to worry about. But currently seeing a lot of rain, especially in western portions of the Wiregrass at this moment. A few storms are trying to make its way into Houston County. Matter of fact, the west side of Dothan now seeing a few showers. The main thing that we have to worry about is one, heavy rainfall, but also the potential of some severe weather, with the main threat being some brief spin-ups. We've already seen a couple of confirmed tornadoes further out to your west near the Louisiana area and also in Mississippi. Now here in the Wiregrass, things have remained relatively quiet, but now the heavy rain is beginning to move in. We do have to watch for small areas of rotation in this type of setup, and we're going to check. Again, not seeing anything right now. The strongest one is actually further up to your north near the Goshen area in areas of Pike County, but I do expect us to be under a tornado watch at least sometime soon, especially over the next couple of hours as storms begin to move their way through the region. Another thing we have to watch out for is if any storms begin to come from the south and become what we call at least a little bit cellular, to see if they rotate. So let's see what's behind us. Well, there's a lot of rain behind us, and that's a problem. One thing I'm beginning to notice is we're seeing a pile of flash flood emergencies, and those flash flood emergencies means there's ongoing flash flooding, and it's catastrophic flash flooding ongoing in that particular area. Now, we don't have to worry about that right now, but our rain threat will continue to increase, and our flooding threat will increase across the tri-state region a little bit later on. So how are these storms moving? These storms are currently moving a little bit now to the northeast, but now I'm watching this east to west band begin to set up. And that's very important. Depending on where this sets up, you can kind of see by the storm motion by these arrows. These are now moving more east northeast. Depending on where this band sets up will determine where the heaviest of the rainfall will reside. And depending on that, some isolated spots have been mentioned to see maybe up to a foot of rain, even 10 to 15 inches of rain in that high risk zone. I'm actually going to step off the screen, Brian. Meteorologist Brian Boggiano is also here with us. If you can show us the Weather Prediction Center graphic of what we expect for today. And I'm going to kind of go over the threats, especially if you can pull that up over on links 2. And what the Weather Prediction Center is thinking, because it's a pretty rare risk of what we're seeing. We're under level 3 out of 4 risk of flash flooding at this moment, and this level 3 risk is pretty extensive. But now we have an area in our watch area that's now under a level 4 out of 4 of flash flooding, which is areas of Andalusia. So Covington County, you're under a level 4 out of 4 risk of flash flooding, and what that means is you have a very high threat of seeing maybe life-threatening flash flooding in your area. But even if you're in Elba, I wouldn't let your guard down. Sampson, Enterprise, and still a level 3 risk of flash flooding isn't anything to really sneeze at. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Facebook and also take some questions, and based off any questions that we see, please feel free. We actually have some time to discuss, and even some different scenarios that could unfold. So let's talk about some of these scenarios that could unfold across the region. I'm going to open up one of our meteorologists, Brian Boggiano. I'm probably going to open up his storyboard, or also just share what some of the models are thinking right now. So we do have a few models, and they're going to tell us kind of what's ongoing or what do they think. Now, my current opinion, I'm going to switch back to our radar, is that for our flood risk is not only high for today, but it's on the moderate side too. So a level 3 risk of flash flooding, not only for today, but also for tomorrow. So this will be an ongoing threat, and we're already beginning to see rain across the region. Let's take a look at those rainfall totals too. Over the last 24 hours, certain areas, even in Covington County near the Bruton area, they've seen just to the south of Covington County and to the west, they've already seen about 4.4 inches of rain. Now, certain areas of the Wiregrass didn't see a lot of rain. Enterprise about 1.27 inches, Dothan maybe a trace of rain, but it could add up very, very quickly, very, very soon. So this is why we have to worry. In multiple areas, we'll continue to see that threat. So what else are we looking like? Let's take a look at our severe weather threat. Well, there's a level 2 risk now of severe weather, and we talked about this yesterday. We did expect areas of the Wiregrass to be under that level 2 risk of severe weather, and it's really pretty much, it kind of cuts near 84. So just to the north of 84 and going out to the west, so northern and western portions of the Wiregrass under that level 2 risk of severe weather. But here's what's important. Take a look at that tornado threat. A 10% tornado threat within this particular area for the rest of your day, and some of these storms haven't even moved through. So if we see, those storms are now in that area, but there's also a 10% chance of tornadic activity within this area as well. So we could see the potential of some brief spin up tornadoes. Now, we're not expecting anything relatively strong as far as like EF2, EF3 type tornadoes, but we are still expecting tornadoes nonetheless, particularly in the area. And let's pull that up. Seems like we're having some small technical difficulties, but the tornado threat is highest in areas pretty much between Coffee County, northwestern portions of Dale County, extending into Covington County. Now, still, don't let your guard down. Now, we've seen a 2% risk day. Actually, a fun fact, when we saw our Headland tornado and the tornado that hit WDHN, that was a 2% risk day. So that risk is even higher today. So I'm not saying we're actually going to see the exact same thing, but that threat is there for seeing tornadoes in that region. But the highest threat will be in western portions of the Wiregrass. And we're going to talk about the rain a little bit soon and the different scenarios that can pan out. But our tornado threat is right over here, and our rain threat encompasses all of the Wiregrass, but the heaviest of the rain could fall in Covington County. But I'm also watching the corridor pretty much north of Highway 84. I do think areas somewhere near Highway 84 or further up to the north, we could see the potential of maybe a very heavy band of rainfall, and that could be maybe anywhere. I think widespread totals will be between 5 to 6 inches, but 5 to 8 inches maybe cannot be ruled out across the area as well. So let's go to our future cast. This is one model. This is what we call the HRRR. It's a pretty good short range model, and it goes out about 18 hours. So what does this model expect? So this is around 1:30. And as we go throughout your afternoon, and it's not initializing well, just being completely honest, because we're already seeing storms a little bit further out to our east. So I think the rainfall totals will be even higher. But what I'm looking out for is, if you take a look, it kind of shows a band beginning to set up and moving in the same direction, especially in northern areas of the Wiregrass. That's one thing I'm looking out for. And if that happens, then we could be talking about the possibility of some very, very heavy rainfall and the potential of flash flooding. But let's also talk about another scenario. There's also another scenario that can play out, and we have multiple models that we can look at, that we can see to determine what maybe could happen. Again, don't take this for gospel. That's my number one thing. But at the same time, we could use it to determine what, at least an estimation of what could happen. So this is another model. This is 1:30. And like I said, the main thing I'm watching is it's not initializing well at all. This is what our Barron model thinks at 1:30. And this is what we're currently seeing. Let's switch over to our satellite and radar at around the 12:30 time frame, excuse me. So it's 12:30, and they're expecting something to look like this about an hour from now. But currently, storms are already kind of well ahead and even looking a little bit stronger and more potent. But let's see how it initializes. It shows a lot of storms coming through around 8, and then it kind of dying out. Now, I'm not buying this scenario as well. So there's another model. It's called the NAM. And really, in meteorology, what we're probably going to have to do is do a lot of nowcasting, because the models don't look the world's best right now. The NAM looks pretty decent. It's initializing pretty well. Let's see what the NAM thinks. Shows that heavy band of rain making its way through, and then another band making its way through around 11 o'clock. But one thing I'm noticing is, and I'm going to highlight this, is if you see right in this particular region over here, this is what I'm watching for to see if that sets up either later on in the evening or overnight, something that moves kind of in this east to west territory. If that happens, then we're talking about a setup for flash flooding, because these storms are moving in the same exact direction over a long period of time, and that's when the flash flood threat can begin to increase. So when does that occur? That's going to be the million-dollar question. As of right now, we're not seeing that. We are seeing more of a straight line of storms, but I'm watching this area, and this is what's going on right now, of what could occur maybe a little bit further to our back. And if we switch to our national radar, we will get a pretty good depiction. So we already have a line of storms moving through in this general direction, but I'm watching to see how this line behaves over time. Because if it trains in this particular area, then we can be looking at a flash flood threat a little bit further up to our north in northern portions of the Wiregrass. So that's what we're looking at over the next couple of hours. But Brian, if you can check the Facebook comments, do we have any particular questions at this moment?
We just have a lot of people asking at this point about impacts like to specific areas. I'm seeing a lot from like specifically around Henry County. I'm also starting to see some in Barber County, looking at Geneva County. There's a few questions. And I'm not sure where Blue Springs is, but I know we're getting questions from there.
Okay, well, I can kind of give a generalized idea.
As well.
Okay, and I can give a generalized idea of what I think is going to happen. So I want to give a caveat. Flash flooding is hard to predict where exactly it's going to occur. It's not like heavy winds or heavy rain. We kind of can have an idea of a broad area. One thing that we do know is that there's a lot of rain ongoing further out to our west, and also more storms further out to our west as well. So even as you go past Coffee County. So you do see some heavier rain already beginning to set up across areas of the Wiregrass. And again, looking for those little areas of spin. Actually watching this small area near Op, let's pay attention to that as of right now, and not seeing a lot of shear associated with that. But continuing back when it comes to the rain, there's a lot of storms regardless, and we can see some brief spin ups here and there. And with these tropical type systems, and again, this is a remnant of Tropical Storm Arthur. With these remnant type systems, they spin up very, very quickly. Now, as far as the rainfall, we do have a generalized idea that we will probably see, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, I think we're probably going to see a good 3 to 6 inches area wide, probably a good 3 to 6 inches. Now, if we do see that training set up, then there's some isolated totals that can be as high as maybe 8 to 12 inches of rain. And if that does occur, then we're talking about the potential of maybe some flash flooding, well, some life-threatening flooding for that matter. So it all depends on how fast the rain falls, and this will be very important over the next couple of hours. Already starting to see storms begin to move into areas of Elba in western portions of the Wiregrass. How fast does that fill in over the next hour or so? And if we are going to continue to see this training effect in areas near Troy, Ozark, and Geneva, because storms are now beginning to roll in across the area. But how fast will they roll in? And also, where does that convective band set up where we have to worry about maybe some long-term or at least short-term flash flooding where water levels begin to rise very, very rapidly? So as far as specific areas across the Wiregrass, I would say, here's my personal opinion. I think that if you are west of 231, you have the highest risk of seeing flash flooding and tornadoes. Now, there is a potential, I do think, though, pretty much along Highway 84 from Houston County, even areas of Early County. I don't want to knock those guys out, but as far as north of 84, along areas of Houston County, all the way through Enterprise and all those other areas across the Wiregrass and further up to your north, you have a pretty decent chance of seeing the heaviest axis of rainfall in and around that area. Now, there is a possibility, that you can see the heaviest rain maybe set up a little bit further out to our north. It all depends. There's lots of factors that go into this. We're still going to see some daytime heating. We haven't even reached peak daytime heating. That doesn't occur probably for another 3 to 4 hours before we reach those peak effects of daytime heating. So more storms will continue to bubble up. And again, we have to watch out for the brief spin up tornado over the next few hours as well. We're going to do a lot of nowcasting at this current point in time, and I do expect things to change. Spin-up tornadoes will continue to be possible. We will watch for some heavy rainfall, and again, the reason I want everybody to be careful, flooding is one of those things where it sets up very, very slowly. It's not a fast setup all the time. Flash flooding can occur semi-fast, but it's not like a tornado where it's like very instantaneous. So even though you're like, hey, I'm not seeing flooding now, or I'm not seeing a lot of rainfall at this moment, especially if you're in eastern portions of the Wiregrass, but we're still seeing heavy rainfall in Elba. And let's actually switch over, because again, we're still watching for the potential of maybe watching some broad rotation here and there. Again, some of these storms have some very weak rotation, at least at the moment. But again, we have to watch out for quick spin-ups, especially within some of these storms, because we saw it yesterday. Some of these storms have a nice little hook to them, or they have a look to them, and then eventually they can spit up a brief tornado. So we're going to be watching the radar pretty much all day. I'm going to be here. Meteorologist Brian Boggiano, he's going to be here as well, manning the radar just in case. But as of right now, not seeing anything super strong, but rainfall totals will begin to pick up even further. The rain has now started in areas of Coffee County and beginning in areas of Dale County, and slowly will move its way into Houston County and our areas further out to our east. As we continue to see more daytime heating, we will see the potential of flash flooding maybe increase, and also our tornado threat. Do we have any more questions, Brian?
Many of you are asking, will these be long-tracked, or will they be more so short-lived if we get any?
If we see any tornadoes, these tornadoes will not be long-track tornadoes. And a lot of these tornadoes, especially in these tropical systems, they're relatively brief. So that means they might stay on the ground for a couple of minutes, maybe a few miles here and there, but we're not expecting any tornadoes to be on the ground for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 miles. We could see maybe, if we do see a tornado, you know, sometimes these tornadoes might be on the ground for maybe a mile or two, maybe even 3 to 4 miles on the longer side. But we're not expecting any long track tornadoes that we see typically in our springtime that might stay on the ground for 20, 30, sometimes even 40 miles. More like a short, brief spin up that could cause some damage and pack a punch, but then lift up. But sometimes they can lift up and then they will drop back down. So they're very brief and they don't last very long, but they can drop multiple times compared to where a long track tornado will stay on the ground all day and strengthen. These remain relatively weak, drop, and then they'll lift up, and sometimes they'll drop again every once in a while. So you just have to be careful when it comes to these systems. So we're not seeing anything, like I said, at this moment right now. Again, they have somewhat of a look. You kind of see these little small hook shapes, but you just have to watch for these weak spin ups. Again, not seeing anything in the shear department, but you know, maybe some broad mid-level spin here and there, but nothing super strong. But again, we have to watch out for that. And maybe let's see if something matches up, at least in this area near the Jack region. Matter of fact, I just noticed that on the radar. And maybe, you know, you can see some broad rotation here and there. So again, we have to watch out for areas of broad rotation across the tri-state region, but not right now. But there is a potential of, you know, brief spin ups. What you got, Brian?
Any area north of Brundage that might, you can see that.
You said watching areas north of Brundage?
Yeah, as the National Weather Service is saying that as it interacts with the line of storms, that's...
Yes, so a little bit further up to our north,
yes.
Near the line of Brundage, near Brundage. Now, I know that's a little bit out of our area, but still, you know, we have to watch out for those small little areas, and it's probably near the Troy region right now and moving a little bit further out to the east. So, you know, there's a special weather statement right there. There's already a flood advisory for Pike County at the moment. So we have to watch that closely. And it looks like that was just issued within the last couple of minutes, around 12:33. So yeah, within the last 10 minutes, there was a flood advisory that's just been issued for Pike County, and more storms are on the way. Again, if you go further out to our west, you kind of have a good depiction of what's ahead of us. You can see lots of storms are still moving in relatively in this direction. And again, this is a very heavy batch of rain that I'm looking out for. And to see exactly where this sets up, this is going to be very important to see what happens over this line of storms within the next 12 to, I'll say within the next 6 hours, because that will determine kind of where that heaviest band sets up. And we could see some redevelopment even later on tonight. So, and one thing I am noticing, Brian, is I do see a severe thunderstorm warning for further out to our west. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I'm noticing is, and this could be maybe some small details that we look out for, is look how the way these thunderstorms are moving now to the east. So since these thunderstorms are now moving out to the east, that could be a sign that our convective band, our axis of heaviest rain, could be beginning to set up. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to watch that closely, because earlier, and we can actually zoom the radar out a couple of hours ago, these storms are moving further up to the north. You can see these tornado warnings moving up to the north, and even these severe thunderstorm warnings moving up to the north. But now look, it's moving more to the east now. So let's see how that happens, how that evolves, over the next couple of hours. Because if we start to see more of these warnings move to the east, that shows that our heaviest axis of rain is beginning to set up somewhere in this area. And if it does happen, then let's see how that overlaps, because we're seeing that heavy band of rain set up in this area right here. And then let's see how that reacts over the next couple of hours, because that does at least roughly overlap. and I'm going to kind of cross-check myself to see that does pretty much overlap with our heaviest axis of rain that we could see today in areas of southern Alabama and also in Covington County. So we're going to watch out for that. And those are the little things we have to look out for, because I am noticing these storms are now moving more east to west compared to that north to south motion that they did have earlier. If that does continue, one, you do see that severe weather threat that could increase, and I'll be watching near Covington County over the next couple of hours, because those storms do look like they're strengthening near the Jackson area, near also near Atmore, near Bay Minette, also near Saraland. So we have to watch out for that pretty closely, and also noticing that this tornado watch has been extended into areas of Pike County and also in Russell County, a little bit further up to our north. So let's see if our National Weather Service eventually extends that tornado watch into areas of the Wiregrass, or if a new one is issued very, very soon. I do expect one to be issued relatively soon.
All right, looks like the National Weather Service is saying they're coordinating with the Storm Prediction Center right now, and it looks like in about an hour, they're saying in about an hour or so is when it will happen. Okay, awesome. So we just finished talking about that, and just like that, so expect a new tornado watch to come out in about an hour. So, and also one thing I do want to pull up, matter of fact, is I do want to reiterate our threat for flash flooding. I want to read something actually from the National Weather Service, what they put out earlier this morning, and why it's so important to, even though there's a tornado threat, to take this flash flood risk relatively seriously, because it all depends on where this rain sets up, but widespread 3 to 6 inches, and then also maybe even up to 8 to 12 inches within certain areas. So this is coming from the National Weather Service, and there is, and here's what they're saying verbatim: additional rounds of heavy rain, and this is as of 1:31 Eastern, or 12:31. So basically this came out about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Additional rounds of heavy rain is expected today and Friday, with the heaviest amounts of rain expected across southeast Alabama, southwest Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. High rates of training bands will increase the chance of dangerous to life-threatening flash flooding. Flash flood watch is in effect today and Friday, generally near and west of Panama City to the Ashburn line. A few tornadoes are possible today and Friday across the area, with quick spin-ups and some rain bands. A slight risk of severe weather it extends across areas of southeast Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, and a level 1 risk for the rest of the area further out to our east. And also, of course, the high rip current risk. So again, the main thing I want to take from this is it does say if we do see training bands, it will increase the chance of dangerous to life-threatening flash flooding. So this isn't your regular rainfall risk where we might see some ponding on the roads every once in a while. We're talking about if things do set up and all the ingredients do come together, the potential of flash flooding could definitely be there across areas of the Wiregrass. So this is why we want you to stay safe and stay weather aware. Now, Brian, if we do receive any more questions, let me know. But we're probably going to get off live in the next about 5 to 10 minutes. But this is the perfect time, again, to ask any questions. So, Brian, if you can look at the Facebook comment section for me to see if we're receiving any questions at the moment. And if we are, I can answer them. Let's see, is there anything that could cause the storms to move east instead of north?
Anything to cause the storms to move east instead of north. So there's a frontal boundary a little bit further up to our north. And so there's a frontal boundary to our north. And also these storms kind of provide their own outflow. So if these storms are moving more to the east, it will be somewhat of a bad thing, because it will set up that training effect. But at the same time, there's really the only hope, I would say, is if these convective bands continue to move more to the northeast. So we're going to switch back to our national radar. What we could hope for, and I can probably show this a little bit better on the models. Let's take all these hazards away. Is you kind of see this area of spin right here. So you kind of see the center of this area of low pressure spinning right over here. So the best thing that can happen is if this continues to move in this general direction, which it will, but if this kind of lags a little bit further down to your south, then we could see a band begin to set up in this area. And I think northern portions of the Wiregrass have the highest chance of seeing flash flooding. Now, let's see what the models think. And I think the models will show pretty much the different scenarios. So these are 3 different scenarios that could occur. So if it stays more on the north, if it pushes a little bit further up to the north, more of that northeast motion, then you do see, regardless, you see a line of heavy rain beginning to set up. This scenario shows that line setting up, and I can show you that area of low pressure, matter of fact. So I mentioned that area of low pressure, and the models are kind of showing the same exact thing right in this direction. You want this storm, for at least the least amount of flash flooding, to move a little bit further up to the north than expected. But that's not a guarantee that'll happen. So what could happen? Let me see if I can clear this out. And if we can't, that's fine. But as it moves to the north, if it stays a little bit too far down south, we can see another band set up and go over the same area for a long period of time. That would increase our risk of flash flooding. That's just one model. Now, our Barron model shows maybe something a little bit different. The Barron model shows one line of storms moving through, and then after that, it kind of clears the area. So we get a quick hit of rainfall, and then no other band sets up until probably later on for your Friday, and potentially going into maybe your early Saturday morning. So that's another model. So there's plenty of setups that could occur. Now, I think the worst case scenario model could probably be what the NAM is showing, where they show a line of storms move through, then a secondary line forming later on that night, and then also that convective band showing up for your Friday, and then maybe staying over the same area, which would show multiple rounds of rain. So what we can hope for is it moves a little bit further out to the north and east, more of a north-northeast direction, so that convective band could be a little bit further up to our north, and we don't have to see those training thunderstorms. And do we have any more questions, Brian?
Let's check. It's a lot of location-specific areas. Let's see. Let's see that. We have a question how long it's going to last, which I think we addressed.
It's going to be pretty much an all-day affair when it comes to the heavy rain. The heavy rainfall threat, I would say that will be between now and maybe as long as Saturday. But I would say the worst of it between now and probably Friday afternoon and maybe Friday evening. But when it comes to the severe weather threat, I would probably say between I'll say that 3 p.m. time frame all the way till I'll probably say after sunset. We still could see maybe some brief spin-up tornadoes, but with this particular system, I would say between 3 p.m. to about sunset. And then as we lose some daytime heating, now we still could see some storms, but you know, that is what we're looking at least at the moment. I did see, I think somebody was worried about a storm a little bit further up to our north. Is there a way that this doesn't produce any tornadoes? Technically, yes, there is a way that it won't produce tornadoes, but the environment is prone to maybe showing some brief spin up. So I would say it's a possibility, especially with these storms. Sometimes you'll get a tropical system and you'll have little to no tornadoes, but will I rule that completely out? Absolutely not, just from the fact that we have seen some tornado warnings earlier today, and I'm going to get those hazards back up, matter of fact, so I can see what's going on. But we had multiple tornado warnings already today. And I did see some people mention maybe some storms near Dale County, maybe seeing some broad rotation here and there. These storms are prone to spin. This is very, very close to the radar, but we can watch this storm near Dale County. And also, you know, a lot of these storms, there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. So these storms can spin up briefly. And again, this is close to the radar, but let's take a look near Bearfields Crossroads. Storm relative velocity does show maybe some weak rotation near County Road 64. So we can watch that on the close side. Again, it's very close to the radar at the moment. But besides that, let me see if we see any rotation anywhere else. And we can do a quick scan across the Wiregrass of what's going on. Not seeing anything super duper strong, but again, maybe some broad rotation ongoing and near the Dale County area. Very close to the radar, so we'll keep a close eye on that. But one thing we can do is also keep the radar loop going even after we exit our live. But that does line up maybe some small to brief rotation. But I know people are wondering about their area specifically. As of right now, it seems like Houston County hasn't seen a lot of rain. And here's maybe a sliver of good news. We have to see how this sets up. Seems like that rain is slacking up in areas of Geneva County. So maybe these storms won't quite make its way into Houston County. We'll have to watch very, very closely to see if more storms pop up later on throughout the day, because again, this storm is trying to move to the north. We just have to see where this band sets up later on. But I'm more concerned for Dale County, Coffee County, and also Covington County, at least at this moment. But again, that could change as of right now. So not seeing any more questions. I'm going to go through one more scan. And if I don't see anything, we can keep the radar up at least for the next couple of minutes, and maybe even for the next few minutes. I think Houston County could see a rough 6 to 9 inches this evening. That's very well possible. Again, it depends on that line further out to our west, I would say near Mobile right now, and near Jackson along I-65. How does that set up, and also how much daytime heating we get that could affect maybe more of those rainfall rates. So again, I'm going to step back on the screen, kind of give one more little overview, and we can stay on live probably for the next 20 to 30 minutes. And if anything changes, we'll continue to let you know. So here's a look at what we're seeing. Still seeing that line of storms here across the Wiregrass. I'm going to switch that national radar. We're not seeing a lot of storms here, at least in the Dothan area. We've seen a few isolated storms here and there and a few isolated showers. Watching for any rotation that could be possible. There's a level 2 risk of severe weather for our area, with the main threat being damaging winds and also the potential of a tornado. I do think that our highest threat of seeing at least those high-end rainfall totals will be near and north of Highway 84, but again, that can definitely change depending on where that heaviest rainfall axis will be. Now, I do think that we still could watch out to see where does this line set up over the next couple of hours, but heavy rain will definitely be on the table. So I want everybody not only to stay safe, but stay weather aware as of right now. Again, under a flash flood watch all the way until, if I'm not mistaken, Saturday at 1 a.m. So this will expire Saturday at 1 a.m. Central for all of our area. So there is that threat of flash flooding, and we're under that level 4 risk and the level 2 risk of severe weather. I think storm totals will probably be between 3 to 6 inches at the most. If we do see that dangerous flash flooding occur, maybe 8 to 12 inches in some spots. So I'll be very, very careful. Again, breeze spin-ups could be possible. So please stay safe and stay weather aware. And also, if you live in a mobile home, we might not see a tornado today or tomorrow, but it's still very important that at least, if you can, maybe stay by somebody who has more of a solid foundation, because these storms will have little to no lead time with these warnings because they spin up so fast. I want everybody to stay safe, stay weather aware. We'll keep you guys updated as needed.